Going to speak, and I'm going to wrap things up very quickly. So we're going to take two more quick questions with quick answers because the room is awaiting our time. So one question from this side, one question on this side, the panel will respond, and then we'll wrap things up. Go right ahead. And I'm sorry to the other questioners. I think we'll be walking out, and you might be able to buttonhole us on our way out the door. Go right ahead.
Apropos of solidarity, I'm an alumna here a couple of times, and also a union rep. And I just think it's very important to mention the other faculty at UC, your colleagues, and to say something about the two casualties which have been going on for many years and are now culminating, two more casualties of privatization that I think were hinted at in the last speaker's comments. One is those faculty and their careers, and the way in which their appointments are structured in general, and their vulnerability now to cuts. The other is the programs and the courses that they teach. For example, technical communications in the College of Engineering is being eliminated on this campus. Now, I think most of us would agree that when engineers can't communicate, there are some very frightening consequences. Okay?
Do you have a question for us?
Yeah, so I would like to ask, especially the last speaker, but the panel, to comment on those losses, the losses of those classes, and also of those colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. And one more question from over here, and then we'll let the panel have the floor. Go ahead.
My name is Randy Swearingen, a staff member from the College of Engineering. You, Peter, and others have mentioned the statistic that 10 years ago, the state funded 75% of the UC system, or UC Berkeley, and that today it's 25%. I was informed recently, and I hope I'm wrong, that 25% is still the highest funding of any state university in America right now. That University of Oregon, University of Michigan State, that they get less funding in terms of percentage of the budget or percentage of their own needs. And I'm also wondering if we can have other stats, such as dollars per student that the state puts in. If there's some way of finding out how we do compare among the 50 states.
For the latter question, there are figures in the California Budget Project, the Office of the President, and other places that can give you an idea of how these numbers have changed through time. A part of the thing, remembering this is also a tremendous research institution. The state has been contributing to that for a long time, but it's going downhill. And another thing is that there's really a discrepancy among campuses. I think at Berkeley it's below 25% now, but at UCSF it's about 8%. These figures are very complex and they're not easy to figure out. With respect to the lecturers and other people, last year about 18% was cut from what is called the TAS budget, which is temporary academic staffing. That means lecturers and all GSIs, people like that who are not part of the permanent faculty that's academic senate type appointments. Now what this meant is that in our department, for example, we had to lose 10 TAs just like that. And so that meant that several classes were canceled, and we had to make some decisions. Do we cancel human anatomy? Well, we got a lot of pre-meds. You know, we could cancel human anatomy, we'd probably have 1,000 letters to the chancellor the next day. Maybe that would restore our cuts. We kind of didn't want to play that game. You know, someone like me, I went on sabbatical because I needed one, but also because I had a class to give, and I knew if I gave up my 2 GSIs for that, they would be in a class that maybe more people would take it. So you have to make some decisions here. But this is not going to get better. The dumbest thing you can do here is to cut TAS support for these lecturers who are teaching these supportive classes, bringing our freshmen and sophomores especially on board. They're teaching writing classes, doing all kinds of things like that. I think that the engineering folks may be rehired another unit if things will work out. You know, because we cannot lose the ability for people to write here. We have a fantastic education in writing at this campus, and it's absolutely important because when you get out in the real world, the first thing that people want is somebody who can read and write and work well in groups. And you've got to be a group.
I'm very grateful for the question about non-Senate faculty because a rather unfortunate feature of most of the UC universities exists in a 2-tier system. That we have Senate faculty and non-Senate faculty, i.e. lecturers, some of whom have continuous employment, but many of whom have quite vulnerable semester-to-semester jobs. They're expected to carry some of the heaviest teaching loads on this campus and others, and they teach quite a few crucial undergraduate courses. My colleague Alan Karras, who's a senior lecturer in political economy, made an important presentation at the ASUC Senate that's available on YouTube, and he presented important data on the decline of lecturers in just this past year on this campus and how that has impacted the courses that are offered to undergraduates, or rather no longer offered to undergraduates. This takes me back to my key theme of solidarity, that in fact we have to be able to think about how the work of this university is being done by a whole range of intellectual and other workers. I also think it takes us to the issue of shared governance. We have a system on this campus where our colleagues who are lecturers are not a part of systems of shared governance, so that when budget cuts happen that often impact them first, they have no say in the matter. They're often the last to find out about those cuts.
Thank you. There are two very important